Hey Wealth Lab users, Glitch here. Today we are going to talk about what's new in Wealth Lab 7 Build 28. So let's get started. The first thing you'll notice is that my release log still says Build 27. That's because I'm finally caught up with these build videos. I'm recording this video before we actually release Build 28. So by the time you watch the video, your release log should contain the Build 28 update. So the major new feature in Build 28 is the return of preferred values in a strategy. So let me open up a strategy. First of all, I'll quickly describe what preferred values are. You can see this new tab here, preferred values. I have a list of some symbols and some parameter values here. So the idea is you can optimize your strategy on a symbol by symbol basis to arrive at these preferred values. So let's click optimize here to go into the optimization interface. So you'll see a new tab here, symbol by symbol. So we click there, we take a look at our data set that we have selected. So let's stick with this Yahoo data set that I have here. It has just a handful of symbols, so that'll kind of keep my optimization time down a little. So when we click optimize now, I'm going to change my optimization method to exhaustive. So each optimization will require 56 permutations. So that's testing each combination of these parameter values here. What it'll do is run a complete optimization for each symbol one at a time. So this can take a while to run. So let's get started here and kick it off. So here we go. We're starting with Amazon. And with this time remaining, it'll start to tick down pretty quickly. So yeah, it looks like my total net optimization time will be around 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video and then pick it up when this is done. Just wanted to jump in quickly while this optimization is still going on. We have about 3 minutes left. You can run multiple instances of Wealth Lab 7. So if you want to get a long-running optimization started, feel free to launch a second instance of Wealth Lab 7 if you want to continue another development and let this other instance chug away in the background. Okay, here we go. The optimization is complete, and I have a list of symbols and my parameter values and all of the performance metrics that I had previously selected in the preferences metrics. So now I can look at each symbol's performance and see what parameter values for each symbol had, for example, the highest APR. I can change the metric I want to look at. Let's say think maybe Sharpe ratio is more important than APR. So I click there. So now it's showing me the parameter values for each symbol that resulted in the highest Sharpe ratio. So let's double check that. Let's click lowest and see if we get some changes here. So for example, the parameter for Amazon was 2.3 for the highest Sharpe ratio. For the lowest, it's 6.18. And if I scroll over to Sharpe ratio, see all these negative values now. Let me go back to highest. And now we have a few negative for symbol, but mostly positive. So this is a kind of symbol by symbol explorer that lets you look at the parameter values and a number of different metrics. I'm going to go back to APR, and then when I have the set that I prefer, thus the name preferred values, I'll right click and say save all the symbols results as their preferred values. So I click there, and it's telling me now that preferred values are saved for 9 symbols. And it took me automatically to the preferred values tab. So now it's important to save this change, because in WL7, preferred values are saved with the strategy. So if I close down my NeoMaster and reopen it, I'll get all of the preferred values that I'd previously saved. You notice there's a couple other symbols in here that weren't in the data set. That's because preferred values will save any number of different runs that you then push into the preferred values. So it's a kind of cumulative list of parameter values for each symbol that you've saved. Okay, now that we have the preferred values, how do we use them? Well, let's open up our NeoMaster strategy here again. And when I go over to strategy parameters, there's a new checkbox here to use the preferred values. So let's start with this turned off. Let's run a plain vanilla kind of backtest here and let's see what our result is. So the result is about a 3.87% profit. And that's with a 10% of equity position size. So if we go back and turn on the preferred values and run the backtest again, the result has jumped to 147%. So this is pretty clearly curve fitting. What we're just doing is seeing what the best parameter values were and then running a backtest using the same date range here, most recent 5 years. For real world trading, I would highly stress that you should backtest and determine preferred values on one window of data and then forward test on a different window of data to see if those preferred values are still holding up before you decide to use them in your trading. This feature makes it very easy to overfit or curve fit your strategy, or over optimize is another way to call it. So just be aware of that. Take care. Don't fall into the curve fitting trap. So this is how you would use the preferred values in a strategy window. They are also exposed in any other tool in WL7 that can run backtests. So let's see how they're integrated into the rankings. So with the rankings, you can drag a folder or drag a strategy over. I will drag the NeoMaster strategy over twice. So notice here under parameters, it says PV. You can right click to deactivate the preferred values if you choose. So now I have one copy running preferred values and one with the plain vanilla parameters. So let's run the backtests. Of course, our preferred value curve fit strategy trounced the vanilla one. Wouldn't expect anything different. So that's the strategy ranking integration. It's also integrated in Wealth Signals Publisher. So if you link a strategy to a Wealth Signals strategy and you have enabled the preferred values here in this checkbox, it will use them. We saw the strategy window, meta strategy. Let's create a new meta strategy. And once again, a meta strategy is a strategy that can combine 2 or more strategies. So when I drag my NeoMaster in here to make it part of a new meta strategy, you'll see here now you can activate or deactivate preferred values. And for that matter, the walk forward parameters, which is another type of optimization in WL7. If I click optimize, I can do a walk forward optimization. And let's see, a couple other spots. You can open a chart, and I happen to have another strategy that I saved preferred values on. It's this RSI agita. So let me drop that strategy onto the chart. You can see here it's using an RSI of a period of 14, but if I go to my data sets and open up this data set and then start clicking on the symbols, which will automatically run the strategy, you'll see that the period of the RSI changes for each symbol. 34, 42, 22, 15. So it's using the preferred values, and that's because the strategy that I dropped there had the preferred values checkbox turned on. So once again, this state is saved with the strategy. So that's the chart window. Finally, our strategy monitor. If I drag a strategy into that, not only have we given a little bit more room in this dialog, it was getting kind of cramped, but we now have the same kind of two checkboxes that we saw in the meta strategy. So you can activate walk forward parameters if the strategy has them and enable the preferred values, or choose to turn them off. So there you go, preferred values finally making its appearance in WL7. Use them cautiously. The next and final thing I want to talk about in Build 28 is the ability to do something different with symbols. So we recently had an issue on our forum where TD Ameritrade had a lowercase character for one of their, I guess, preferred shares. And WL7 typically uppercases all symbols, but you notice here we do have a symbol here with lowercase. So interesting, huh? And if I double click on that, it will load that data from TD Ameritrade. So how do you get a lowercase symbol now? Simply start typing, and when you want lowercase, hold down the Shift key. And you can get lowercase symbols now in WL7. So thanks for watching, everyone. It was kind of a meaty video here for Build 28. Preferred values is quite involved, but hopefully you enjoy the new features. Stay tuned for future build highlight videos. And until then, see you all in the forum.